a house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Welcome to the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube, and the NewsSpin Facebook page. My name is Timothy Poleon. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. In a moment, your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And Kimani is with us today, so she'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. What is of importance to you right now? What is of importance to you right now? I could only guess that it is the high cost of living. Irrespective of whatever issues that would be dangled before you, irrespective of distractions, you can rest assured that the prices of food items at our supermarkets, those have not changed over the last 2 days. If anything, who knows? The prices might have increased because we continue to hear from local authorities that there is nothing that can be done about this to bring some kind of relief to you. But over in Canada, our NewsSpin news of the day focuses on the Prime Minister there and one particular course of action that he plans to take, and that is control grocery prices or face new taxes. Canada's Trudeau warns chains. That is the warning that he has issued to businesses over in that country, supermarket chains. Control grocery prices or face new taxes. Canada's Trudeau warns chains. And I'll try to go through an article to provide you further explanation, to provide you the details of that snippet of information that I just shared with you. Because unfortunately, in the case of St. Lucia, we're just hearing a lot of excuses. For example, from the Prime Minister and the Minister with responsibility for finance. We'll hear from him momentarily, as a matter of fact. So, control grocery prices or face new taxes. Canada's Trudeau warns chains. And part of the item reads, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has warned grocery chains that they could be hit with new taxes if they do not take steps to control rising food prices. Trudeau said the heads of the 5 largest supermarket chains, including Walmart and Costco, would be asked to come up with a plan to address rising prices before Thanksgiving. Trudeau is facing questions about his leadership amid sagging public approval. Also announced that sales tax will be waived for the construction of new rental apartments as part of measures to address cost of living concerns. If the plan doesn't provide real relief for the middle class and people working hard to join it, then we will take further action. And we are not ruling anything out, including tax measures, Trudeau said at the end of a caucus retreat in London, Ontario on Thursday. In the case of our own Trudeau, This is what he has to say with regard to the high cost of living. Okay, we don't have that clip, unfortunately. Will we try to get it? Maybe not. Okay. But in essence, what the Prime Minister of St. Lucia said yesterday is that there are a number of external factors that has resulted in spiraling cost of living, the high cost of items at our various supermarkets, and there's very little that he can do about it. And he went on to say that, people have been trying to ridicule him when he has been suggesting that there are certain things that we can do domestically. And he referenced the banana story. So don't expect any major reprieve, any adjustment, serious adjustment downwards in the price of various items at the supermarkets before Christmas. Who knows? You'll be expecting, or you can expect, for the prices to escalate. But in the case of Canada, control grocery prices or face new taxes, Canada's Trudeau warns chains. Well, there are other things politically that our politicians would like us to focus on instead, to serve as a distraction. You can determine whether you want to make this or these things a priority or not, or you might want to call on your leaders to address those issues effectively. Meaning, if your previous administration has done something that was illegal, something that was improper, something that was unacceptable, why not take the proper corrective action? And citizens must be very, very careful that politicians would just bring things up, put it before you, so that what? You can speculate. And we'll be hearing from Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre right now when he was speaking about this OACC, well, what we deem to be a controversy in this country. Something to distract you. Something to make you forget that we are experiencing a high cost of living issue. We have an increase in crime in our country. And nearly every week we are recording 1 or 2 homicides. This is the Prime Minister speaking on the Radio 100 program, What Makes You Mad? And that is yesterday.
Some countries give a discount on the freight, so the government doesn't get any income on part of the freight charges. You understand? But what does that do to me? What it does to me is I have no money to pay civil servants. Television has one of the most high-priced civil servants in the region. So when I lose any income I get there, I have no money to pay civil servants. I have no money to pay policemen. I have no money because I have no money to pay nurses. I have no money to pay teachers. I have no money to put supplies in the hospital. I have no money to run the country because that's where I get the money from. So what did I do? I removed the 6.5% service charge on basic food items. I removed it. So I bought the price. The price came down a little. And secondly, I asked the people of the country to look inwards. And I was ridiculed. You remember the banana story?
So that's a clip I wanted earlier on, which basically enforces my point about the Prime Minister, unlike his counterpart over in Canada, not being able to do anything about the high food prices and not coming in with any kind of recommendations. In the case of Canada, the Prime Minister is saying control grocery prices or face new taxes. Canada's Trudeau warns the chains, supermarkets, because from time to time we hear that they are reaping profits to the tune of millions of dollars. So, if somehow, because, we basically have one main supermarket in this country, and if somehow we're able to say to them, well, just reduce on your profit, well, let's say 5%, so that we can provide the customers, the consumers of this country some kind of relief. Who knows? The supermarket chain might agree to this. But we'll turn our attention now to the other clip of Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre. And that is the clip of the Prime Minister making reference to the whole OACC issue and saying that, I just put it out in the public domain so that you could speculate. And we've been doing this for far too long in this country. Far too often. It's a case of naming and shaming people and politicians we deem to have committed certain breaches or acted in an improper manner. Why not put the mechanisms in place? Is it all about grandstanding? Is it all about playing to the gallery and hoping that somehow a label will be attached to certain politicians, and where they could be or will be penalized is in the ballot box? And in the meantime, the Prime Minister speaks as if he's not too sure, too clear about what transpired. And he just concludes that it was improper. He does not want to name, he does not want to identify certain issues because he says he wants to be careful. Now, from the word go, why not take your time? Why not bide your time on certain things, Mr. Prime Minister? Because you seemed on this issue to be so in a hurry to go to press. So collect all your facts, ask all your questions of the technocrats, because in that interview, the Prime Minister said also that maybe that's an issue you'll have to ask with Ministry of Finance officials, meaning he did not speak with Ministry of Finance officials on that issue before speaking on it, before it was discussed in the island's parliament. But just throw this out before the public and allow them to speculate. Here's the Prime Minister.
Have you requested an explanation from those involved in this?
I'd rather hold my peace for that and not for now, because you don't want to just say things about people. All you can say is what you saw, and let the speculation.
Have you requested an explanation from those involved in this?
I'd rather hold my peace for that and not for now, because you don't want to just say things about people. All you can say is what you saw, and let the speculation.
So you heard the Prime Minister. Let's open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. Your first update?
Good afternoon, Tim. Someone says, didn't the woman say kill it? The price debate is dead. Another comment, where is the Chamber of Commerce in light of their attempt to delay the 2.5% levy until January 2024? Another comment in the chat room, Tim, not too long ago, Pop was asking people to come together, but he is spreading untruths so that his supporters could see. And this is the end of the comment. Another comment, someone says, I am here, the best lunchtime show in the world. NewsSpin, Tim is boss. That's it in the chat room. Pretty team.
Thank you so much. Somebody says, hi Tim, realistically Trudeau's ultimatum means nothing. Any tax he implements will be passed on to consumers. What we need to do in St. Lucia is reduce income tax or remove it completely. This will put more money in the people's hands, allowing them to afford these expensive goods. The businesses have no social conscience, and prices will continue to rise as long as people are willing to purchase. It's all about their profit. Remove income tax and raise VAT back to 15%, removing this nuisance 2.5% levy. Well, I mean, VAT is basically back to 15%. We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I listened to the two clips you played there. And I know your mantra is don't call anybody liar. But when the Prime Minister...
You could say that they are getting involved in terminological inexactitude.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, when the Prime Minister says that he has no control over freight, Tim, doesn't the government charge taxes, all the taxes, that the inherent cost, which he went at length to explain to people, the cost of goods, when it gets to St. Lucia, the cost is the cost of the goods that you purchase it, insurance and freight. That's the final cost before the government starts to apply taxes. So when the Prime Minister says that he's not in control over the price because of freight, that is a blatant lie, because he should know better that the freight influences the cost, which influences the amount of tax you pay, because all the taxes, whatever tax, excise tax, service charge, whatever it is charged on cost, insurance, and freight, Tim. I mean, doesn't the Prime Minister know that? And to come on national TV, national radio, and tell people that the freight is not in control? I mean, what does the Prime Minister know about? I mean, what is he in control of if he could come and make those kind of statements, Tim? And when he says in the second clip that he doesn't want to cast aspersions on people, but by putting out a statement, an unverified statement, and by coming on people's radio and TV and saying, I'm stating the fact. But the fact without any foundation is just words in the wind.
So what if a journalist were to do that, or a reporter? The Prime Minister would pillory that individual and say, man, you have to be more responsible than that. Before you read a particular item, before you speak on a particular issue, present it as fact. Ferret out the information, do the muckraking.
He's given for not taking the commission, the acting commissioner of police to task. He's saying that it's just people are just saying things. Nobody, and you know what they're using, Tim? On that same program yesterday, the Prime Minister says that the people, right, the ladies in question, have not written an official letter penned by their hands and make a report. So going to the police welfare and getting the president or whoever it is, the secretary, to pen a letter is not in effect the person. I mean, what is this gentleman taking people for in St. Lucia? I mean, what is Philippia about? Timothy, I do not know, but I don't know. People in St. Lucia need to wake up and open their eyes and recognize that this man is not Prime Minister material. Okay, this man is just not Prime Minister material, and I think Mr. Pierre should do the whole land a favor. And if there's somebody more competent, I can't see anybody so far, but if there's somebody more competent within the ranks, let them do that, because for now... I
mean, not even somebody like, let's say, Dr. Ernest Hilaire or Sean Edward?
Worse again, eh? Worse again, if you're talking about Hilaire. Worse again, more lies and innuendo and whatever. I really do not know. Maybe the most innocent of the flock there right now might be the Minister of Agriculture. I don't know. That might be the most innocent man.
But there's some issues with regard to the distribution of fertilizer, surrounding the Ministry of Agriculture.
Well, like I tell you, it's the least tainted. I'm talking about the list of evils. That's what I'm doing right now. The list of evils.
But I would go for the Education Minister, Sean Edward.
Sean Edward.
Yes.
Well, God help us. Bye, Tim.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Somebody says there, we all want businesses to do well, but we also want people to be able to eat. Government should work with business owners to put price caps on grocery items. That is what our leaders should be telling us. Give us hope, not kill it. We need proper representation. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
When I listened to your caller, the caller that just finished call a while ago, it's almost like we are looking for somebody to do better in two positions. In the police force, we almost cannot find somebody to be a commissioner or to do something good, especially with the current situation that we have. Then you're looking at the rank and file of the MPs in the government. And a while ago, I heard you suggest Sean Edward.
No, I'm just saying, listen, because I have to watch my words too. Somebody is saying that the Prime Minister should vacate the office of Prime Minister, should give up that position. So I'm saying, if not the Prime Minister, then who else? And he says, well, he can't see anybody in the cabinet replacing the Prime Minister if it comes to that. So then I suggested, against that background, Sean Edward.
Then if we almost cannot find somebody to do a better job as a Prime Minister, especially in this party there right now, we're in trouble. That is why when during election campaign, we all over the place campaign because we just want to win. But we never had a group of persons, they might not be all the candidates, but somebody among the others that are capable should the event maybe there were to be a cabinet reshuffle. Am I right?
Colin, my point of view on that whole issue is it has always been very difficult over the last few decades for one to pinpoint who should replace a prime minister. In the event they are ill, in the event they lose their lives, etc. The last time I think I at least would have been comfortable with somebody as a prime minister demitting office or resigning or dying and having a replacement that one would have considered to be on par with that individual was the era of John Compton and George Mallet.
Exactly, because I was just about to go there. And then I could recall there was once when a journalist did ask John, who is a deputy? And he continued to say, I'm my deputy. And it was sound very strange. So who is your deputy? And he continued to say, I'm my deputy. So apparently, it looked like Sir John was not even maybe too concerned about who was his deputy, especially with the work that he was doing in the country. Because what Sir John was doing was a good job. Sir John set up the pace today where, the people of St. Lucia can be happy about it. But right now, Tim, and that is serious, we want somebody to be competitive, somebody to have the country at heart, somebody who would not tolerate other colleagues within the rank of the party, especially when they go off track. Am I right? Am I correct then?
Yes, you are.
These are the type of, and somebody that have leadership qualities and skills, not just about just hearing something, seeing something, and tomorrow you are busy on a radio. That's a fact. That's a fact. But we need clarity, we need evidence, we need document to substantiate what you are saying. If not, then what happened? It is laughable, especially when you are head of state. That's important. It's not just St. Lucia listen to you, Tim. You have people right now, NewsSpin have almost covered a lot of international countries across the globe, with especially St. Lucians that are living there. They are tuning into the program every 12:30 in the weekdays. Sometimes some even tell me they go on YouTube to get a rebroadcast of the program and still play it, and you swear it's NewsSpin taking place right there. So when you have these things happen, and we cannot find quality person that are responsible, that can lead and stop talk and lead. But what we are seeing right now, we are going way back. This party in government, but they go back and campaign. They are now campaigning all over the place and forget about the duty that they were elected to do. We need to see things happen on the ground, sir. We people can never tell if you heard something bad that you cannot retrieve, at least say something. But then you need to come out in a campaign mood and try to see what you can do before time, because time is fast running ahead of you. Do something. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. This is a concoction, that's according to a WhatsApp message, between Dr. Anthony, and a man who made no valuable contribution to the upliftment of VA4 after representing them for over 2 decades, and the Prime Minister, a man who lost his way. These men have failed St. Lucia. Let's take a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Are you familiar with this story? I can't remember the exact name, but it was about a naked emperor. It was about a naked emperor, and it was a little boy who was in the crowd because there were some tailors who made a gown for that emperor, and in his mind he had the best gown ever. And then it only took one little boy in the crowd to notice that the emperor was actually naked while he was there on his chariot and things.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
You understand? Yes. Okay. This is our situation today. We have a naked prime minister, no ideas, nothing. He knows nothing. But in his own mind and his own eyes, he is the best there is. Okay? That is his situation today. However, Tim, there's so much going on in this country. I want to bring something to people's attention. Again, Vieux-Fort is my passion. I am not even from Vieux-Fort, but that is why I apply my trade all the time. That is where I've been working from the time I was 18 years old. And right now, you have the town council people. For several years, I don't think these people have gotten working shoes, clothes, and these things. And you've seen those persons by the road picking up rubbish and sometimes in sleepers, and you hearing them complaining about not getting uniforms. But they are quiet. What is wrong with our people? How could you be going through this kind of situation in the country, especially you portions, and you're quiet about this? You understand?
It's called suffering in silence.
But it's amazing, huh? It's amazing. How can we do that? I cannot do it. But really and truly, when you look at on the other hand, we have a prime minister. Now, people, they have mastered the art of tricking the people. Huh? They into giving handouts because they realize that is what our people want. Our people do not want much. What they want is a little handout there, a little handout there, a little handout there. Now, this government is very good at doing that. They pick little pieces there, little pieces, and they give to the people. Now, what you see happening with all what they're giving, you go around it and you see where it's coming from. People cannot even buy food. Yet still you want to jump up about you will get 1.5. When you look at the conditions for the 1.5, who can get it? You understand? When you look at the CXC Maths and English that they're paying and the facility fees, put that by the price of 8 textbooks and tell me, is it worth it? You understand? One textbook so from freeze between $199 to $200. Yet still you paying maths and facility fees from me and English. That will not come to half the amount of those books. You understand? The old people that was always getting everything free already. You understand? You come and you package it and you make it look nice. And people jump in, yeah, look at all what we get in. But they're not saying, look, the 2.5 coming on your backside now and you can't do anything about it. You cannot even buy. Not too long ago, I was looking high and all over the country for rice. After we already in a crisis, all my banana and plantain, everything fall down during the hurricane. I don't have one that I've ever planted yet. I couldn't get rice anywhere. I had to go and buy potato thing. You understand? When you giving the farmers a little, before they would give us based on our damage. Now you telling me for an acre of my bananas that fall down, banana planting and everything that fall down, you're going to give me $700, $750.
You can block a whole corner.
Greenhouse say makwazi. Okay, how many thousands of dollars for to put up a greenhouse? You telling her you're giving her 1.5. I mean, it's a business we're doing. We're not supposed to expect an out from government. But if donor countries are providing to do these things, what you doing with the money? You're holding it for yourself and then you're giving us peanuts out of it. It's the same thing with the fertilizers. When they send fertilizers, a lot of the people in the high places, they're sending the bulk of the fertilizers to their friends. I've seen people, and I'm buyer of government office, agricultural office. So I can tell you, people are not even farmers coming and racing to get how many bags, while the real farmers cannot get 2 bags. You understand me? When they finish, you're going back and sell it in. And that's not hearsay. These are things I know. I will not mention names, but these are things I know. You understand? So at the end of the day, this government, it's up to St. Lucians who want to open their eyes. I still hearing people talking as if this is the best government ever. So I reach a point where I don't even want to call NewsSpin again, because I say let people see. Let people feel. Because apparently, you see the thing I used to say, the African, the slavery mentality thing that is ingrained in us. It's like they want to blame everything for it. I am starting to realize maybe this is true. We just like misery. No matter what we get is misery we like. So let me leave the people in the misery and do what they have to do. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much for calling. Alternative Security Services, they're currently hosting a job fair. It commenced at 9 o'clock this morning, concludes at 3 this afternoon. It is being held at the Castries City Council Town Hall. Well, bring your application and an interview will be conducted. Get hired on the spot. Requirements: valid ID, age 20 to 50, sound mind and body, and must be able to read and write. Once again, a job fair being hosted by Alternative Security Services at the Castries City Council Town Hall, and it goes up until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Still to come, there was a homicide which occurred last Friday over in Miku. What transpired later? What transpired last Sunday? We'll be back.
First National Bank has the best deals on used vehicle loans. On Saturday, 30th September, visit us at the Derek Walcott Square from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Take advantage of our low interest rates, fast approval, and comfortable payment terms. Get free consultations with registered used car dealers, as well as our knowledgeable lending professionals. Special terms and conditions apply. Make it your Saturday line with First National Bank. Here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
KFC is taking you on a finger-licking journey down memory lane with our delicious throwback special. A mouth-watering leg and thigh combo with regular fries and a 16-ounce soda for only $15. That remind me of the good old days, boy. Available every Thursday. But wait, the thrill doesn't stop there. Tune in on Thursdays to win vouchers and stages tickets. Limited offers available in stores only. KFC, finger licking good.
So fast pay, a new and easy way to pay. So fast pay, so fast pay.
You asked
effort and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow fast pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow fast pay. Flow fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Salu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Automotive Art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive Art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive Art, bigger and better.
Art is a place to start.
Get ready for the second annual Zouk a Blanc, presented to you by Project Chocolat. Saturday, 30th September from 7 p.m. featuring St. Lucia's #1 band, DYP. The always exciting Ezra, the Fun Machine, and our finest DJ, Hollywood HP, and DJ Shocking. Savor an evening of elegance, souk, and old school rhythms in the heart of Soufre at Project Chocolat. Secure your tickets for just $80. Grab yours at any sell outlets island-wide or at Mambo's Bar in Soufre. Tickets are also available online. Zouk a Blanc, a touch of white, where island vibes and cuisine meets pure sophistication.
Admission $100 at the door.
You can recall that it was about exactly 8 days ago that we recorded our last homicide. Vern Joseph, 48 years old, and this tragedy occurred in Miku. Quite sad. And if you listen to the reaction, as is normally the case from relatives, they're crestfallen, they regret the death of that person, and they tell you that person was so loving, etc. And you just feel the pain oozing out of those people's system. Let us hear from Sergeant Zachary of the Community Relations Branch of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Because in the aftermath of that incident, they visit the family on Sunday. That is to provide psychosocial and other forms of support.
We visited the community. We saw the relatives of the deceased, and we provided this amazing atmosphere, this environment for the family to air out their concerns, their grief, what they've been thinking ever since this horrible tragedy.
So, provided them the family the opportunity for them to vent, and provided counseling and so on. But we don't have all the facts surrounding this homicide. But if we have to go on the account that is given by the brother of the deceased, Gilroy Joseph, then the authorities have some questions to answer. Not just there's a homicide and then you provide psychosocial support and that's it. The circumstances under which this incident occurred. According to the brother, Gilroy Joseph, the deceased reported the matter. There's the threat that was being made to his life to officers at the Miku police station. They could not attend to him for whatever reason. He was asked to return to a particular area. I think that somebody's saying a shanty, or I think it's a bus stop, where he was almost, if not decapitated. And the relatives are saying, had you all attended to my brother, if you all had attended to my brother, if he was kept at the police station because he told you the nature of the threat, he would not have lost his life. So let's listen to the brother, Gilroy Joseph.
He went in the station saying he'll cut somebody's neck. There are two female officers at the station there because there had nobody there because they was at a funeral and they had a traffic check, I understood. So they had nobody at the station. He came there, he said he's chopping somebody's neck. The officers run upstairs. So while he's coming from the station, he meet my brother sitting under the shanty. He saying he's chopping my brother's neck. Right? And my brother came out there, go in the station and make a report. The female officers asked him to go under the shanty and sit there to wait for the jeep when it come. Right? So my brother came, he sit down there waiting for the jeep. And the man wasn't there. He's right behind my brother back or how it is because people that tell me, they had people that see him. And he chopped my brother behind his neck. Post-mortem get that he get 3 lash of cutlass behind his neck. And the fella turn him and give him 4 lash of cutlass in front of his neck. So which I find, first I will say, if the police officer had only just leave my brother in the station, that wouldn't happen to my brother.
Gilroy Joseph, the brother of the late Vern Joseph. So all this psychosocial support, there would not have been any need for it, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, if the police had done what was required of them. Let's continue with your calls. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
You said something there where the Canadian Prime Minister said that they're gonna, if the people don't reduce their prices, they're gonna add taxes to them.
To the supermarket chains.
But Timothy, that is nonsense because this supermarket, these business places, is maximum profit, minimum loss. So all what they have to do when the government add the taxes on them is raise their prices again.
No, what the Prime Minister is maybe trying to happen, he wants to happen is that they will fear that taxes will be imposed on them on that basis. Then what they will end up doing is to reduce the prices. That is what he wants. That's the reaction.
Well,
you understand?
I understand, but I know these people don't lose anything.
That is the reaction he wants.
Yeah. But in the case of St. Lucia, Timothy, again, we cannot really blame importers, business places which import goods to sell. Remember, these people guarantee themselves a certain markup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Timothy, we all know that since the event of COVID, that all these chain supplies overseas, the prices of the goods have been doubled, right? So in that case, whatever before the prices were double, what government used to charge, if they used to charge the service charge on that 10% or 6% or whatever it is, and that price has been doubled, all what the government have to do is reduce on the service charge, reduce on the duties, and therefore the supermarket, the business place will pass it on to the consumers. It's simple as that. What the Prime Minister is talking about, if he take out the price on that, how will he pay nurses, how will he pay doctors? Because government is something, Timothy, that whenever they reach, before they get in, they will tell you they're going to move this, they're going to move that, and when they get in there, is monies they're collecting. Look at the 150 on the gas. Hasn't the government ever talked about the 150 on the gas?
No.
Because they're collecting monies. So it's a simple thing. Like, I don't know how a man like Philip Pierre say he's an economist, and Philip Pierre is beating around the bush where he really a money for firm, you know.
I don't think the Prime Minister is an economist, huh?
He's not?
No, I think the Prime Minister is an accountant.
An accountant. Okay. Well. Okay. I'm corrected. Okay, you're an accountant. Well, just do the maths. Just do the maths. It's a simple thing like that because, Timothy, these people guarantee themselves a certain markup. So whatever the price they pay for the goods, if the goods is double, you are charged. When the percentage is calculated, it will be higher. So a simple thing what government have to do, okay, is just reduce on the service charge, just reduce on it for them, so the people will pass it on to the consumers. Because nothing else will help, because the people guarantee themselves their markup in every business, everything you're doing. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You're doing a job for somebody. When the QC put in whatever they put in together, the QS put in together, they guarantee you a certain percentage of the value of the work you're doing. So it's a simple thing that in that case, that the only solution for St. Lucians in that is just a help from government. That's the only way, Tim. Because, Tim, like I tell people like that, they ain't seen nothing yet, you know. Come the 2nd of October, people will really, really see what is going on in that country. They're talking about the supermarket prices already high. Come the 2nd, you're going to see. You're talking about 15. I tell you already, that is actually 17.5%. Because that 2.5 is being charged on your CIF. Okay? The people will not absorb that. You know what Kentucky say already? They will not absorb that 2.5. They're going to pass it on to the consumers, and then they have to charge you another 2.5 for government for 12.5% VAT on that. So it's actually 17.5%. So the only person that could help in that situation there, Tim, is the government. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Kimani, what's in the chat room? Anything to report at this time?
Someone says, Mico police should have acted before the incident, not after. Another comment, if anything, the Grosley MP, he is young and being boss, he might see things differently. Another comment, this is really going too far. We need to force these guys out by any means. We may have to build back, but we need to start in St. Lucia. Someone says, always laughing or blushing like everything is a joke. Awa with the minister. I think referring to Philip J. Pierre. Let me see if I could find any other comments in the chat room. But that seems to be it, Tim.
All right, thank you so much. Let's see if we have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes, good afternoon, Mrs. Nancy Charles.
How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Kimani, how are you?
I'm good.
Timothy, I listened to your last caller. I mean, I'm really calling to respond to something that has been in the news for the last 2 days with reference to the so-called Panama account and something that happened to me this morning. But let me just respond to your caller who just called us a while ago with the price of goods and even the Prime Minister's rationale. So, because I think you played the clip about the Prime Minister's and how he needs to pay the bills, etc. I made a presentation in the Senate a couple of months ago during the levy. Timothy, is there anything wrong with government reducing on the budget in terms of the operational budget? There are certain fixed costs that we know government has. The salaries and pensions, you know, there are certain fixed costs, your loans and the interest on their loans, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain costs that government does not necessarily need to increase and to incur. So when the Prime Minister tried to make it seem as if people are not smart enough to understand how to manage money, everybody knows how to manage money, whether good or bad, but we know how to manage money. We operate budgets within our homes, within our workplaces, etc., etc. And so if you're going to tell me, coming off the heels of COVID, and you understand, if you were caring enough and you understood what the people were going through in this country, and you really genuinely wanted to make the lives of people better and you wanted people to be able to survive, aside from the fact that you have increased the price of bus fare, of bread, of fuel, of cooking gas, and everything else in this country, the simple thing government could have said is for this financial year, we will look at places and areas in our budget that we can reduce costs. Isn't that a sensible thing to say? So instead of putting an additional 2.5 tax on the backs of St. Lucians, you could have easily said, this is where I'm going to save some money. So when we looked at the budget, Timothy, why did the Prime Minister have to increase consultancy from 88 million to $122 million? There was an increase of $44 million just in consultancy. Why do we need an additional $44 million to pay for positions that you have created for your friends, your families, your loved ones, your daughter, whose brother, etc., etc.? Isn't that something that the government can look at and the Prime Minister could have looked at him?
I'm listening to you.
When I looked at the budget, I mean, in mostly every department, Timothy, there is $1 million allocated for printing paper, For paper to print. We're living in an age of technology when you can use email and WhatsApp and use various electronic means of communicating. But we need $1 million for each. It has increased to $1 million for each government department. There's an increase of about $5 million. I think it was about $25 million for rental alone. There's an increase again of about $5 million for travel, just for travel. And I think when they had asked, I can't remember if it's the Prime Minister or one of the ministers, and he indicated, well, the price of tickets has gone up and the price of hotels has gone up, etc., and that is why we had to increase the travel vote. But why didn't you say we'll reduce on the traveling? Just to ensure to say to St. Lucians, listen, I am asking you to play your part. Things are hard, and as a government, we are playing our part. So when the Prime Minister comes out and say, I have to do the tax because I need to pay the bills and I need to pay things, etc., there are other ways of cutting. We know that. So don't come and try and say that the only choice that you had was to institute a tax. But outside of that, Tim, I want to share with you what happened to me yesterday between last evening and tonight. So I got a call from this very known character of the St. Lucia Labour Party who's on another talk show, a morning talk show, and tell me, oh, I saw your news story and you're talking nonsense and garbage and this, that, and the other. And I just laughed. And then this morning he sent me a message to say that he saw my news story. And he sent me a clipping of the Public Finance Act, which he himself doesn't even understand. I won't get into that. But then he sent me, I said to him, well, I think St. Lucians are smart enough right now to recognize truths from fiction. And the fact that St. Lucians have listened to the Prime Minister and what the Prime Minister has said and Dr. Anthony, and also seen the response from the former Prime Minister, people can deduce and make sense of all that. So the man sent me this new YouTube video about the Panama files and Panama being a corrupt country and this building that Trump built, that people launder money, etc. And I said to him, but I know that's where you've been going all along. And I think St. Lucians understand that's where this government have been trying to go all along, to seem to suggest that there is something undue in terms of Panama. And so they're going to go on their talk shows and they'll play these documentaries that talk about Panama. But we all know Panama, Cayman, Switzerland, wherever it is, that some of these countries, there are certain names that are associated in terms of money laundering. But it doesn't mean that every transaction in these countries are bad and that they are illegal, etc. So where they're heading, and I want St. Lucians to know, is to suggest to play those files and send those videos out there and those documentaries and to say that the monies of St. Lucia was sent into an account, into a Panama account, and to seem to suggest that something wrong had happened. But I have some questions for the Prime Minister team. In transactions as such, it is public servants who are the ones responsible for signing off on those documents, for giving the directives, etc. The politicians, your friend Mr. Bailey always likes to ask that question. I think he called Guy Joseph the other night and asked that question. What is the position of the minister in the ministry? And that is to direct policy. So when negotiations take place at the policy level, who signs off on these contracts and these terms? Isn't it the public servant?
Yeah.
So if something untoward, improper, illegal, whichever term you want to use happens, shouldn't the Prime Minister, as the Minister of Finance, as the reporter had asked him in his interview, shouldn't it have been that you call the public servants involved because the signatures are there? Whoever signed the documents, the contract, whoever gave the directives, etc., the signatures are there. Shouldn't it have been sensible for the Prime Minister to call those persons in and say, look, I have these documents. This is what was negotiated. I don't think it was proper or it was right. Why did you take such a course of action? What is the rationale, etc., and so forth? Shouldn't it have been what the Prime Minister should have done? And if something wrong has happened, who is responsible? Unless there is a letter from the minister directing the public servant to do X, Y, and Z. And we know public servants, Timothy, and no public servant that I have encountered will do anything that is contrary to the staff orders, to the Public Finance Act, etc., and so forth. So you have a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. You have the Director of Finance. You have the Accountant General. You have Auditor General. You have all these persons who would have been the responsible public servants responsible for those transactions. You've not called one of them, and you've not even suggested if there's going to be any course of action to be taken against them, but you are trying to tie the politicians to those type of transactions. So you see what is happening in our country?
Well, and the Prime Minister is not the leader of the opposition. The Prime Minister is also the minister with responsibility for finance. So he's in a position to unearth whatever information that he wants that would bring clarity to those issues. And if he's not too clear on this, he ought not to be speaking on it and not to be picking and choosing information to disseminate and to choose to say, well, he does not know and he's putting this out so that people can speculate. That is that is irresponsible. And any reporter who does that will be told that you were not thorough enough, you were not sufficiently thorough. The other thing that we have to guard against this in terms of the disinformation that has been taking place in St. Lucia, not now, not recently, but over several years now, is that you just throw something out and you hope that it will stick in terms of selling the reputation of someone, in terms of hoping that a label will stick. This individual is a thief, this individual is a volley, but yet still is roaming the streets, he's all over the place, and he has not been arrested. Does that make him a thief? Does that make him a volley? But the opponents are hoping that by saying this as often as possible, the label will stick. And that's how you will see the individual.
It's what the population, and again, it's what, when a politician, and I'm talking about both sides, when a politician does that, and the response they get from the people of this country, the response they get is as the people start running with this thing. I mean, by the time Kenny Anthony made those statements, you know, there were persons on social media saying Panama files and Panama this. Even yesterday at the Senate sitting, I was thoroughly disgusted with a particular senator who claims to have does she have a PhD, honorary PhD, sitting in there. And after every other word by the senators, oh, our money not in Panama, what about Panama? And I said, well, what about Panama? You're supposed to be an intelligent person. You're supposed to be at a senior level. You were once a permanent secretary. So you understand how these things work. But when people hear persons like that, Timothy, repeating the same information, saying the same nonsense, then people automatically assume that there is some truth or some fact. And so persons who don't do their research, they just regurgitate, they hear it, that's where the label comes in. And that's been the politics of the Labour Party. And I am stating on the record, and I have said to my colleagues, I, Nancy Charles, do not want to continue, and I do not want to be part of any party that is going to try and throw labels and stick labels at people without facts and without substantiating it. We have to stop this in this country. We have to just stop throwing things like the Prime Minister did. And I agree with former Prime Minister Sase when you asked him yesterday, his first thing was, this man does not deserve to be the Prime Minister of this country. He needs to resign. How could you be a Prime Minister, a leader, a Minister of Finance? You have the information available to you. You have the public servants available to you. You are putting our country in disrepute with a country that you call family. Every day you're tipping colors on the TV when Taiwan gives a check, when Taiwan makes a donation. This is the same Taiwanese government that you're praising and calling family, who's the savior of this government. And now you're trying to throw them under the bus for what? Just to gain some political mileage? Timothy, this is a sad day for us in this country. Sad day for us.
Thank you so much for calling, ma'am. You just heard there from Nancy Charles of the Opposition United Workers' Party. But don't hold your breath, people. You will hear about Panama from now until the year 2026. Rest assured, you'll continue to hear about Panama between now and the next whenever joint elections are called in this country. NewsSpin will continue in just a moment with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Also coming up, a particular individual did apply to be the special prosecutor. Did she get a job or not? We'll hear from her in just a moment.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
To protect appliances from lightning, rain, and floodwater damage, unplug them, then turn off the main switch. Lightning can produce electrical surges, which can damage equipment. Protect your electronics from water damage as well. Make sure you have flashlights, battery-powered radios, and extra fresh batteries available. Be smart, stay safe.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Fast Pay, a new and easy way to pay. Fast Pay, Fast Pay.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Fast Pay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. Fast Pay, Fast Pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese, and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400
Or visit our website, kfcslu.com.
or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
French Connection, your power weekend party. Mixing, remixing, and refixing with the baddest DJs from the French Caribbean.
Any man where you snap, make sure you step when you roll on the parts. Tune you no food when you steal them when not.
Jamaica, watch your balance. As I smoke up and drink up. We going to party tonight, yeah. We going to party tonight, yeah.
French Connection on Power 97.9 FM. French Connection, weekends from 6 p.m. on Power 97.9.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
After a 3-year hiatus due to restrictions of COVID-19, the Sufra Fitness Center presents Fun Strikes 2023, our annual fan, health and fitness walk for the entire family. On Monday, October 2nd, starting at 5 a.m., we walk from the Sufra waterfront to Myers Bridge through Force Jack and back down to the Sufra Beach Park. Of course, the music motivation truck will keep you going and going. A $35 registration gives you a quality drip-fit t-shirt, drinks, fruits, fresh coconuts, breakfast, and a chance to win big. What are you waiting for? Register, start, and finish to win over $10,000 worth of cash and raffle prizes. Register at the Sufra Fitness Center and other pop-up locations. Bring the entire family. Fun Strides 2023.
Well, I applied for the position.
Oh, you did?
I did, and I got a response from the Judicial and Legal Services Commission about almost a month ago.
Okay, what was, if you don't mind, since you say that you applied, what was the response? That you got it?
The response was the position, the position has been filled. That was the response.
All right.
So if the position has been filled, why is it taking so long for that person to start? Because if you're talking about a special prosecutor, you're talking about timelines. You're talking about looking at situations before the time expires on it. So I'm asking myself, are they waiting so the statutes of limitations run out on everything that we were told had happened? And then both sides get protected? I don't understand what's going on.
That's Nigel Toussaint speaking on our NewsSpin broadcast of Wednesday this week and confirming that she applied for the post of special prosecutor. And according to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, well, they've already appointed someone to serve in that position. And she's asking, well, why not a disclosure? Why not ensure that the person, starts to work on the myriad of cases, certainly, that would be presented to him or her to investigate. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we have lost that call. Let's see if we can go through some of your WhatsApp messages right now while we continue to await some of your contributions. Okay, I think we have a call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, Tim, you know that our police force has stories that are replete with what happened in Niku.
Mm-hmm.
One such case in point is Shaka. Remember that incident?
Yeah.
This incident is etched on the landscape of the police force. This is the worst for the police. When the police can, tell the lady at the time, go to your home. The lady went on, she went on the port station. Remember, port station was on Jeremy Street. You there, Nathan?
I'm listening to you, sir.
And watch what happened, Tim. Watch what happened.
You've referred that to Mary Ratcliffe, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. One would have thought that the police would...
I think this incident happened more than 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Longer than that, Tim. One would have thought, Tim, that the police would have learned a lesson from this case and never to let such a thing happen again or repeat itself. One more thing, Tim. I waited with bated breath to hear that the $20 million was diverted to an account, a Riga account in Panama. But then when I listened to your news, I heard it is a company that works with the Taiwanese.
Yeah.
But I don't understand that. Why the hurrah about this procedure? I don't understand it. Honestly, I don't understand it. Because if it was diverted to an account where we have no kind of links in tracing it, but at least we know where it went to. And I listened to Mr. Joseph on your program, and he said that when the Caribbean Development Bank gives money, when CDB, not CDB, the other one that gives money to the government, it never comes into the consolidated fund. It never comes into the consolidated fund. Now, I would like the government to disprove Mr. Joseph on this matter. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Tim, the present government was telling the UTB government that they don't eat roads. The country was moving so well, but Lucians wanted change. I haven't seen anything that these guys are doing to take this country forward than Roro. Where is the money that they are collecting for the road tax? Tim, the country is under serious pressure. People feeling the squeeze. The person continues, Tim, tourism, no cruise ships for the off-season, only one cruise ship for the month of October. What a shame. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Good afternoon, Rick.
Again, I must warn you that your show, as you say, being the most
monitored.
The most monitored in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You have, that gives you a special burden. Everything you say on the show must be, the best of your knowledge, correct. So, wherever I can, I will correct you. And you can do it, obviously. I invite you to do the same with me. Our Prime Minister, contrary to what you said, holds a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's in business administration, both from UE.
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right. I was speaking to someone who I thought was credible, and the person said that he's not an economist.
Well,
so the fact
I didn't say he was or wasn't. I was saying that his official biography states that he has a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics and a master's in business administration.
Okay.
Now I don't see anything about accountant when there, but I don't know much about this thing. So somewhere in there, maybe accountant comes in. I don't know, but he has a bachelor's degree in economics, according to the official record. Now yesterday, Tim, I got sidetracked when I asked you about those vehicles that used to go into people's homes back of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The point I wanted to make, Tim, was, as far as I've heard, and that could be Power Bola, what do you call it?
PBL.
I haven't heard,
I call it PBL.
PBL, thank you very much, Tim. PBL. Okay. From what I gather from PBL, and maybe one or two semi-official sources, there has been some arrangement, better known in the Creole language as arrangement, between the gentleman whose house was wrecked, or
in Dennery,
mm-hmm. and the ambulance people,
fire service,
firemen,
fire service,
fire service. Now, Tim, let us say the guy agreed to a settlement, and whatever the sum was given to him, that takes care of him and his expenses. But we have to stop seeing things in this close-up, isolated manner. Because I personally, I would like to know what the settlement was for both journalistic curiosity and otherwise, what the guy settled for, and so on. But even more, Tim, I would like to know how that driver ended up in the guy's house. Do you know?
I don't know. Because, Rick, that is the subject of investigation, so I don't know. The investigation has not been completed.
I would imagine, Tim, that insurance would not agree until the matter had been thoroughly investigated, no?
Of course, yes.
I'd imagine that. But then again, we have precedent because the St. Lucia's most famous accident involving Bolons. Remember the one I'm talking about?
What, the one that claimed what, close to 17 lives?
Election time crash.
Yeah.
By the way, do you recall that election was postponed on account of that crash?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I know the campaigns were stopped,
Mhm.
and I seem to remember that elections were postponed by 2 weeks.
That was in 2011, right?
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
The year of the Bolon. Okay, so insurance was paid to those people, although it has never been established what was the cause of that accident, Tim. You know what?
And we are notorious for not, I don't know if it's lack of resources, manpower, etc., not thoroughly investigating those cases and providing the outcome to the St. Lucian public.
How can it be a lack of resources when you pay people off?
Yeah, you settle out of court.
Eh?
You settle out of court. So, yeah.
It's not settled out of court. There's no court case. I mean, if you settle out of court when a case has been brought.
Mm-hmm.
But if you make your washmouth for your own convenient reasons or whatever, that is not settled out of court, These are things that should be coming under the rubrics of public information. It's important to the public to know things like that, Tim.
Because we need to learn from such incidents in the first place.
Exactly.
We need to learn from them.
We need to know why a guy would have left the main road and traveled such a distance into the ocean.
Yeah.
We don't know, Tim.
We
don't know at all. As a matter of fact, I can be speculating and tell you, with all the devilish stuff going on there, because it was covered up with Bolom talk, right? That perhaps the guy committed suicide. Huh?
Yeah, we can assume that. But
all kinds
as far as speculation is concerned, most people are saying that maybe he was not familiar with the road.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That a transit driver not familiar with a straight road from Choiseul going to Labrie? Huh? But anyway, it's convenient to come with those things. But even not familiar with the road should be reported officially. And how did this guy get a license to drive people when he's not familiar with roads, main roads? So going back to the other accident that we hear there has been a settlement. Do we know the guy's health who was driving the vehicle? Do we know the last time he went to a doctor to get his license? Do we even know if he had a license or an up-to-date license?
Suffering from certain ailments?
Do we know any of that?
No.
Exactly. And like you said, what you said earlier could equally be applied to him. He was not familiar with the road. We could apply that to him as well. But wasn't that a straight road, Jim?
I don't think it was, huh? But remember, the homeowner also said that this was an inexperienced driver.
There you go. So all of that, and so the homeowner having said that publicly on TV, you would think.
Because I played the clip on NewsSpin. I did play the clip.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm saying, especially since that has been publicized, you would think the authorities, the relevant authorities, as you like to say, would put the public mind to rest about a guy driving an ambulance who's an inexperienced driver. I would assume that an ambulance driver would have to have particular skills guaranteed to him.
An experience and it should have been on the road for a certain number of years.
They are required to drive at certain speeds, not allow other people, and so on and so on. So these guys have a license that other people don't have as ambulance drivers, because the life of a patient or a casualty of an accident might depend on how quickly you get him to a hospital.
Yes.
So they have special things for them. So, but we know absolutely nothing about the driver.
But Rick, you spoke about the homeowner, that home that was damaged. But we have not taken into consideration the elderly gentleman who was on that ambulance and who perished. And we don't know why.
That's because you blocking me.
We don't know why he perished.
That's because you blocked him.
Mm-hmm. Point du vent.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know nothing about the situation, the circumstances of the man who lost his life. Let's get that there. And we should know, because one of these days, one of us might find ourselves in an ambulance. So we should know what's going on, what was on board that ambulance. Was there a medic on board? Was there a trained nurse on board? Anything. Do these ambulances travel just a driver?
There was an emergency responder on board, a female.
A female emergency responder.
Yeah.
We have heard nothing from her. No, I don't know if it's the media or if these people have been ordered to shut up. I don't know. But the point is that is important public information that we're not getting. Then we get to the vehicle itself. You would think that an ambulance would have to undergo particular and peculiar checks periodically.
When was the last time it was maintained? Yeah.
Okay? And we don't know the history of that vehicle. We know nothing about a number of things we are owed information for. Nothing. So I keep saying, people's lives, people treat their own lives as if they were frogs, So when they end up roadkill, God forbid, no surprise that they are treated like roadkill, something a truck ran over, a duck, a frog. We really have to whoever is responsible for keeping us informed on those things. And with these days, in seconds, the thing can be on the internet. We have all kinds of embarrassing things, information about people's lives, made up pictures and things, all that on the internet within seconds. But the things that are important, Tim, absolutely no information. And today also it doesn't work to say the minister was out of town or the person responsible for this was off island. None of these things are relevant today. You realize that?
Yeah.
Because you can put a call, you can send a WhatsApp, or the information can be volunteered in the interest of the public. No?
It ought to be.
But I'll bet you we know far more about Boloms and Shangashi than we know about how to demand information that could save lives. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. WhatsApp message, somebody says, there's a concerned citizen. I noticed the cost of living rapidly increasing. I also noticed that nothing is done to assist the public. Recently, a levy has been introduced, and again, this will affect the lower class significantly. I am not sure what is happening. Life is extremely difficult in St. Lucia. We have a call, as we say, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Timothy, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
All of the things that Rick mentioned and more that I can mention fall under disaster preparedness. Disaster preparedness has a wide scope for a country, and this is where the National Emergency Management Organization, management is the key, and that is what is lacking in St. Lucia. We need to address these little things. Inspection of emergency vehicles. Records should be able to be presented in court to show that the vehicles were inspected, when it was inspected, when was the last time the driver got a test to make sure that he's not suffering from any ailment or anything like that. All of that falls under disaster management. And I've spent most of my life back in the Caribbean looking at these issues that come up from country to country, and nobody is taken seriously. We have the management agency in St. Lucia, headless today, headless, no director, no deputy, and the Prime Minister is just going to laugh. I'm just making my little contribution to you today, Tim. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Lionel Ellis. So youth parliamentarians are preparing for Youth Parliament scheduled for September the 25th and the 27th. And we have a report from Ryan O'Brien from the Youth Department.
Youth parliamentarians have been given an opportunity to sharpen their skills for the upcoming Youth Parliament, set for September 25 and 27, when they were briefed by House Speaker the Honorable Claudius Francis and Senate President Senator Alvina Reynolds. The Youth Parliament has been an annual feature from 1993 and has evolved over the years into debate of actual bills that have been brought to Parliament. House Speaker the Honorable Claudius Francis said he was confident the current cohort of youth parliamentarians will do justice to the debate.
Previously, they would bring their own motions to be debated. And when I became president in 2012, I thought, but if we are looking towards the youth, why not give them an actual bill that we ourselves would have debated at the higher level? So ever since they have been debating the bill, and last year they debated the domestic violence bill, which we debated last year as well. And coming out of the youth parliament, we were of the view that it was so good that some of the points that were made by the youth parliament, we have actually taken them into consideration with a view to looking at incorporating them into the domestic violence bill.
Senate President Senator Alvina Reynolds said she was impressed by this year's youth parliamentarians and found their interest shown for additional training to be commendable.
They are part and parcel of country, and not only for future, but for now. It begins now, preparing them, giving them an exposure to what governance entails, what is involved in the politics, what we see happening, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that they can prepare for governance in a better way, to understand the process, to understand what it takes to be a leader, not only nationally, but at the community level. There will come the day when they'll have to vote for at the level of the council, at community level. They may change things around. So I think they need to be exposed, they need to understand what is happening, and so they can appreciate it and put their best foot forward and bring other young people to represent young people, but represent the country as a whole.
John Tent will be serving as Prime Minister during Youth Parliament.
We had training from the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate, really informing us, and especially the new ones, about the processes involved in Parliament, the importance of Parliament, and really the importance of this bill that we're debating this year, and it's the domestic violence bill. It is the most progressive domestic violence bill in the region. And so it really is an opportunity for young people to put their voices together and comment on laws that the government has passed.
So the experience has been for you?
Yeah, the experience has been wonderful. We've had training from, I think, all the way in May, June, and we're just wrapping things up as we prepare for the 25th and 27th of this month.
Members of the public will again be able to follow Youth Parliament live on the National Television Network. From the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, I'm Ryan O'Brien.
Thank you so much, Rob. And as we conclude what's happening in the chat room, Kimani, final comments.
Someone says, one thing I think this government should look into, hire experienced drivers instead of the firemen to drive the ambulance. And how long should a fireman be in service with a license holder to drive an ambulance? Just asking a question. Another comment, more recent caller, the young lady from Dennery was also killed by her boyfriend. She made several reports to the police and was just dismissed. It's another comment, it seems glaringly apparent that there is political interference in our judiciary system. If so be the case, then we are in deep trouble. Someone says that the family should sue the police. Another comment, I got my passport in 4 days for $350. Someone says, the previous caller said that the price of goods were doubled by the supply chain companies. If that was the case, why are the cost of these same goods under half or two-thirds less in other islands? Make that make sense. All the island's distributors are purchasing from the same international suppliers. What factors create such variation in the cost of goods? It is important. It is import duties on the government's part and greedflation from distributors. The government is more concerned about remaining liquid than giving us an ease. Someone says, Tim, I can remember the MP of Grozele saying we are just sending things out there hoping that it sticks with the people. Someone says, Tim, you ask who can replace PJP. I think RF can, because Richard Frederick is more bold and a risk-taking man. He believes in making things work. He's also a brave guy. So I think he can be a good leader for St. Lucia. Not only soft people can lead, we need strong and decision-making leaders. A leader who is not afraid to take loans and have taken loans on their own to better themselves. Someone says, politics makes educated people behave like fools. Another comment, it's a distraction so people won't talk about the government and what's affecting them as a citizenry. And that is about it in the chat room.
Thank you so much, Kimani, and that concludes our broadcast for today and this week. This has been another edition of NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM, as well as on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back, God willing, on Monday afternoon, 12:30, with another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin. Goodbye.